Then well and water and well. Welcome to Sans Woo Woo, which means without the woo woo. All right. Um. So last week was kind of like a tester, just to see if I could do it. And this week is like for real, as opposed to for play. So it's Wellbeing Wednesday, not Wednesday, Wednesday, dead. So for Wellbeing Wednesday, I mean, um, somebody asked me like after the show, it says like P. Some people know me as Paradox, some people know me as Natalie. Yeah. They said, P. So well, I'm not really sure. Listen, please give mommy love for me as well. You don't know. Ever living, eternally. Get me? Um, says to me, you know what? I'm not actually really sure what well-being is. And I was like, you know what? Bless up for actually asking the question. And I've got my little bit of notes here. I've got them from my left. Kind of thing. So I would just say, like, for him asking, and just for a lot of people, it's like we hear this thing, well-being, but really, in a real life, in real terms, in real, that's why I say without the woo-woo, because well-being sounds a bit out there, well-being, woo-woo. But actually, in real boots on the ground, root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, what does well-being mean? And it made me think about it because it's something that I attempt to do. It's not something that I necessarily think about. So I looked up a definition of it. I literally went to Google. I thought, like, let me actually have a look because I know what it means to me. But what it says is well being, the state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy, an improvement in the patient's well being. And then it talks about synonyms, which is welfare, health, happiness, comfort, security, safety, protection, prosperity, profit, good, success, fortune. All of these things is well being. So I'm like, well, boom. So I was right. Well, or I was right for me, which is well being without the woo woo, which is somebody asked me, what do you mean by woo woo? So I was like, well, what do you think woo woo means? What do you? And he's like, well, without all the kind of the faff and the pomp and ceremony, and that's really it. How does people that's just on there every day, how do they achieve well being? Because we're not all stuck up at a mountain or at a yoga retreat. Like we're not all there. Most of us are like either doing 9 to 5s, running businesses, a combination of both to just try and keep everything going. You get what I'm saying? So my thinking was um, to understand what the well-being is about. So I guess just to start with the self, well-being for me, I think it starts like everything. I like a club. Well-being starts with the spirit, or some people say the mental, the psychology. I would say it's the spirit. That's where your well-being starts because everything starts with a thought. So if you're somebody that is stressed a lot, or yes, Webs, if you're somebody that's stressed a lot, or someone that is in a lot of headache, drama, or around a lot of negative people, I genuinely believe that that can have a real negative effect on your well-being, as in your mental or spiritual or emotional well-being, which is kind of like the catalyst for everything. You know, we all know that person that it's like they could walk down the road and you say hello to them, like the what's that comedy sketch, Air Jamaica? What do you mean what I want to drink? You know what I mean? It's like, huh? Like, take time, you're all right. You're all right, man. or you gang banging on bacon, one of them ones. So we're literally, if our well-being is compromised mentally, spiritually, emotionally, everything else kind of tumbles out of place because we tend to be in this space of chaos, basically. So so I think for that reason I would say that mental, emotional, spiritual well-being is incredibly important. The next one, which is the one that I struggle with quite a bit actually, is physical well-being. And I say that to say this: everything's connected. So let's just deal with that initially. Like, these are just my thoughts and the way that I approach well-being, to be fair. So physical well-being is, yes, on a very normal level. It's about how you look after yourself physically. So that may be exercise, but people think it's exercise and the visual aesthetics. But at the same time, um, you could go to the gym every day, bang out your sets, bang out your reps, got abs for days, no bingo wings, no nothing, 0% body fat, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that. But if you're eating pure cholesterol, if you're eating beer salt, if you're not drinking enough water, if you are not getting enough nutrients, like, the body's not gonna be able to. It's like you put in, like, some people, right? As much as I eat what I eat, obviously it tells upon me, so I'm not gonna lie about it. However, I can't then complain when I'm putting at the times when I'm not putting premium fuel into my engine. I can't then complain. Um, I can't complain when the car's not running the way that I want it to. Look at it that way. It's the same with your food, your nutrients, your energies. Like, the boring things like your portions of fruits and veg a day, your water, certain vitamins and nutrients. Like, one of my little things, which I'm hearing people mention it, like, so I believe, like, yeah, we are in tune because everything's connected. Um, I've been doing the Irish moss. I grew up and know it as Irish moss, you get me? But some people call it sea moss. I've noticed certain of our cousins in the States call it sea moss and what have you. Me growing know it as Irish moss, right? But like I said last week, Irish moss, out of 102 nutrients that the body needs, Irish moss has 92. So boom, if you are finding that true up and down, day to day, whatever, it could be high self esteem, low self esteem, whatever you're doing, you're finding that you're not getting enough nutrients, I would say that Irish moss is a good way to go still. So that's one way. But then remember I said that everything's connected. If you are not feeling positive about yourself and you are surrounded by a lot of chaos and negativity, if you are not having enough positivity fed into you, and this has a negative effect on your self-esteem, it's kind of hard to then assume that you are always going to make the best decisions for the body. You get what I'm saying? So it's all connected. Like, I know on them days where I feel good about myself, I might choose like the healthy meal or whatever. On the days when, it's that time of the month, yeah, I'm not trying to hear nothing, can't tell me nothing, don't talk to me, any. It might be a binge day, like that. It's all connected. Um, and then in just interacting with others, like the question I posed last week, um, which I can't even remember it off it. I have to actually look on the thing. That's not good, old lady gang. I think it was what to enjoy or something like that. Let me see. I have to go on it. I'm over for. I'm technological out at the moment. Right, if I go to it on, The question was, what makes you feel good, right? And the only reason why I go to that, thanks, family. The only reason why I go to that is because the question was, what makes you feel good? Somebody answered solitude, and it was just like, I really, really appreciated that answer because it's one that really resonates with myself as well. Like sometimes I can't take the whole heap of noise. Like I love everybody and I'm gonna miss everybody, but I am gonna miss everybody because I'm gonna come in my yard, lock the door, and I don't really want to talk to nobody just for a bit. Just for a bit. Let me download. Let me let me have that by myself meeting so that I can really see what's good. Let me listen to that quiet, still voice that kind of gets overshouted often by all the things and all the things, and have that solitude. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Hi, best essentials. And then, which is then, I think, the segue into, well, what messes with your well-being? What are the things that messes with our well-being? I sort of started to speak on them a little bit. Yeah, all right, love. Which again for me, if we talk about interacting with others, like it could be being with the wrong person, it could be hanging with the wrong crowd, it could be that negative person at work, it could be, I don't know, could be too much social media. It can be people that can just be funny stuff for no reason, just because they're having a bad day. You don't know, but interacting with others, as much as it can be positive, can also mess with your well-being and your equilibrium, basically. Um, which is why the solitude thing really resonates with me. Like, I really need solitude in order to come to wholeness, in order to come to that distillation of myself, to be my best self. And sometimes it's like today, like I had to get some shopping in and what have you. But when you go a bit too silly, so man had to end up getting an Uber. So this is the thing. It's not like I'm balling out of control. It's just that the bag them did a tear out my arm structure, you get me? So call the Uber now. The bags them are heavy, You know when you a person pick up a bag and you can see the weight in the bag. Boom. The driver pulls up. I hail up the driver. I'm standing with the trolley and the driver watches me as a woman, yeah, lifting up the bags and you can see that they're heavy. Walk up to the boot. I have to put down a bag to open the boot. It's at that point he's getting out of the taxi. Okay, for the mocha. Okay, not a problem. I see you in it. So boom, I put the bags in the boot. He's by this time he's standing by the boot. I'm thinking now it's safe enough for me to just put back the trolley. Like he's parked next to the trolley bay, innit? So I put the trolley back now. Come home. He's trying to do some long route home, and I'm just like, you know what? So I get out of the car, and same thing. He kind of took his time. I just opened the boot and take up my bags. Them at the end of the day, it's not by force. He helped me, but he's trying to do the small talk, and I'm doing small talk back. Not a problem. Two twos here. Why when I get in the yard? Because I was at first I was gonna be just like, even a 5-star rating anyway. Yeah. Someone says go and look on the Uber receipt. Why has the man charged me waiting time? It was pennies, but that's not the point. You pulled up and watched me carry the bag, and you seen that I had to go back to the thing that's next to the car to put the trolley back, unless she was going to give me back my nugget. You get what I'm saying? The man, and then had the cheek to charge me waiting time. Well, you know what? I had to just turn around and say, And I said that to say this, sometimes interacting with people ain't the one, especially when they haven't got integrity. But but that's why them bumba is something that stays frequently in my vocabulary. All right, boom. So that was just an example of how interacting with other people interfere with my well-being. And then, okay, what messes with my well-being physically? Not drinking enough water, like today. Like my mouth lip is dry. 'Cause that's like my early warning signal. If I haven't drank enough water, definitely body-wise, it's this. And then spiritually, I can't even. Hi, darling. You all right? Insight to social. How you doing? Um, spiritually, what really interferes with my well-being is evening, darling. Is just funny styles. Like I can't even. Hi, Mandela. I just I sum it up funny style when I have to figure out what somebody's doing, or I think I'm interacting with somebody one way, and then when you get that moment, and it's like, oh, that interferes with my spiritual well-being, and then I love you too, sis. You don't know. You don't know. Every day, only every day. Um, so that's what interferes with my well-being spiritually. So apart from that, it's just to, I guess, what gives me, yeah, when the energy is up, yeah, you know it. When the energy is up, it's just like, huh? Or just when you think it's one way, and then it's just like, oh, that, oh, anytime somebody makes me go, oh, it's like I have to, the armor comes up because that means you could have dropped me in my side spiritually, and I'm thinking that everything is everything, and so for that, everything get locked off differently, like, and I'll still be cordial, I'll still be kind because everybody's somebody's child. What just know this, any just that. Okay, so because I think, and yeah, the energy vampire, sis, you already know. And I think it's important to speak about the negative because I personally don't, or I think it's important to name the shitty moments, to be honest. Yo, pieces, ever living, always, every time. Sister Mo, um, yeah, I think it's important to name when it's not good because not every day Putin rainbows, not every day shooting glitter. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that every day. Sometimes, and you have to have. I know that Nine says it earlier. Webley said it earlier, which is it's about the balance. So I think it's really important. Yes, to stay off. Authenticity is key. Insight to social. You already know. Good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever you're getting, whatever I'm giving is gonna be authentic. You get me? Oh yes, hello, darling. It's gonna be authentic every time. Even if it's bad, I'm gonna say, yo, see me here. My hand them, see them dirty hand there. Dirty hands. I'd rather hold up dirty hands than hide them behind my back. I can't stand that. So yeah, but it's important to name it because it's an experience. And I think sometimes it's that thing where people are kind of scared to say what's going on and always having to put the best face. And sometimes it's like the smile through gritted teeth, like like a um sorry, my phone was ringing. It's like it's almost like the grimace. It's like you don't smile like that all the time. What about the time when you're just feeling screw face? What about the time when you got bellyache or you got the runs? You get what I'm saying? Like, you get. So that's why even down to like coming live and that, I'm just like, yo, my hair is gonna get washed tomorrow. I ain't got time to do my hair. I stepped in the house 20 minutes ago. I'm thinking of my hat. Simple things, because I'm not gonna put that pressure on myself to constantly, okay, I'm gonna now beat my face. And we'll talk about that in a second, because you know something. As much as I respect everybody's artistry and their right to want to look their best and all these things, yeah, I like adorning the face. What about adorn your face? And I understand it's from like brothers, sister brothers. The terminology is constantly being updated. Forgive me if I'm running a little behind. But and well, the only thing I can say is that men are a bit stronger, but I don't want nobody to beat my face. Like, it makes me think of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that toe pop, Mister. Mm. So even just that, even it's mad to me. What's mad is the way that we think about beautifying ourselves is now spoken about in violent terms. That bakes my noodle. Like, and I could be the weirdo. Like, I could really be the, like, you can call me the weirdo. That's fine. But to me, it just sounds strange because we're all beautiful creatures, you know what I mean? And we're all somebody's child. So that's that. So I say, and then I say that to say this: as much as it's important to speak on the not so good, I don't think we should stay there, because staying in there, all right, put it like this: you know, you got a lotus flower in terms of well-being and stuff. Okay, in terms of well-being, you've got the lotus flower, and at the top of it's this beautiful flower, but the roots of it are down in the doo-doo, in the mess, and you get what I mean, Jano. And it's like, okay, so sis, I'm over on Instagram as well, yeah. But you know, so I see you, and you did right there, so. Yeah, it's like with the lotus, the head's in the clouds, but the roots are down in the muck and the mire. You get what I mean? Sarah, you already know. Love you, sis. You know what? Thank you so much, because every time you give me a sense of well-being, every time I remember your wonderful mischief on a very auspicious day. Yeah, and every time I remember it, yeah, even when I'm by myself, having a by myself meeting, my cheeks are up round my eyebrows. Okay, you're at work till 8:45. You don't know, sis. Well, here's the thing. I'll be back. Yes. Yeah, what I've done is I've recorded it on YouTube as well, so that because I'm thinking Instagram live, okay, 24 hours and it's gone. So I was like, how do I capture it? Yeah, all right, boom, bam. So it is there. It's not as good quality as this one though, but we're working on it. We're working. So it's important to say what gives a sense of well-being, and I think it's important to start with, like, even if it's working up through the chakras kind of thing, food, clothing, and shelter. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's start there. Food, clothing, and shelter is like the most important thing in terms of well-being, because that's why I say well-being without the woo-woo. Because I could be this spiritual person that could touch a person with my finger and they're completely healed. If I'm not eating a decent diet, if I'm not living somewhere that's peaceful and warm and nice, if I'm constantly living in a state of crisis and panic, it's almost like the two things aren't meshing up. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think in terms of well-being, it's important, which is why I'm somebody that loves my yard. Like, I love being at home so much. Like, the point where I actually struggle being out and with around people. It's like, yeah, the secure base, Mandela, that part there is the secure base. Like, and you see the difference. Basic needs, definitely having, if your basic needs aren't being met, can we really say that we have a sense of well-being? Do you know what I mean? And for me, I think well-being, as much as everything's created from a thought, but how do you create higher level thoughts and being able to raise your consciousness and raise your vibration if you don't have a stable base? Like, it's almost impossible. That's what I was saying before. Everything is connected. It's not each part is in isolation. It's all connected. Which is why when you look at the statistics, which I will pull some up, but I don't have them to hand. Don't judge me. Children that are neglected, and things of that nature, you see the effects of that neglect play out later on in life. Um, Even something as basic as interrupted gestalt cycles, not being able to complete and finish things, because which ties into self-esteem. And because if you don't have your basic needs met, how do you feel worthy if your basic needs aren't met? But then is that nature versus nurture? Because then if that's the case, then there's some people that have like all their basic needs met, like food, clothing, and shelter is on fleek, and still it's not good. Maslow, you know what? I'm gonna find that and put it up, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for real. Because it's because yeah, that really was a life change. I think it was in, gosh, going back to about 2006, 2007. That's when I was introduced to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it was a life changer. It was a game changer, to be fair. That's when I was working for Fairbridge, and that's where I met actually the person that asked me the question initially, which was when he said, "I really don't know what well-being is." Yeah. One second. Mal's on Insta, like Jenna, but I do miss the family system. I will just trust me, like we need a catch up. That would be so nice to have a reunion. That would be amazing. Yeah, no, I think it's important to have that real sense of grounding. And there's times where, and not only that, there's the shame that comes with it when you can't meet your basic needs. And then the shame translates into defensive,ness, which translates into, oh, what's wrong with them? But then how does somebody be all, when actually everything is coming at them like, do you get what I mean? So I know I'm getting a bit waffly and off the topic now. Our sound is gone, yeah? Thank you, Nat. Um, Let me see. I wonder what's going on now. Is it still, can't hear anything? Okay. All right. Hopefully it will be. Ah, brilliant. Thank you, darling. See what I mean? That's so beautiful. As I'm kind of getting ready to round up, I was talking about um when people look out for you without you having to ask, and that sense of security, that's the positive side. No problem. That's the positive side of interacting with people and good people that nourish you and feed you. And the beautiful thing is, at the start of the live, I had somebody do that, and near the end of the live, like the sisters, my people then form like Voltron, and without them, I'd be nothing. As much as I need to disconnect and do my thing sometimes, and they're used to me and my ways, but at the same time, yeah, like I think that saying, show me your people them and I'll show you you. I genuinely, even on my worst days, sometimes looking around and just going, well, oh, so of my people them, well then I must be okay then because they're my people. Does that make sense? Sometimes it just gives me that sense of self. Um, so what did I say? So mentally, spiritually, I like doing meditations and Reiki. Sometimes just being in quiet. I'm beginning to, especially as I get older, I love music. I came from a musical background. I love quiet. Oh my God. I am going to actually attempt it one of the days, maybe over the weekend. is just to literally, for an hour, to maybe switch off the phones, switch off the tablet, laptop, switch off the internet, and just be in silence for an hour and see what that's like, see what comes up. Because Saturn's in retrograde at the moment, and that's about kind of looking back at karmic stuff and really going in. The retrogrades are always a time for that. I'll talk more about that when I know more. But to my understanding, it's a time of going in and looking at the karmic stuff that's happening. And I think there needs to be a bit of quiet in order to do that. Because I'm somebody that procrastinates through busy. If I'm trying to avoid one thing, I procrastinate through something else. But I digress. I'm talking about what makes me feel good. Gives me a sense of well-being. Um, Knowing that my fridge don't have to be packed out, but knowing that I've got something to make a nice meal gives me a sense of well-being because I love my food. And um, what else? Just knowing that each person that comes through my door is a really good person. Like it's like I can tell somebody that it's safe to come to my house because the people that come to my house are safe. You know what I'm saying? Like what gives me a sense of well-being is when people come to my house, it's like they kick off their shoes and they're almost dropping asleep because it's that peaceful. That makes me gives me a sense of well-being. Laughing gives me a sense of well-being. I think I see an answer to the question. Um, okay, the question is, how do you get through a tough decision? Hmm, good question. Good question because at times um it feels as if I'm just like it's just a series of tough decisions. So to me, that's like breathing. But the way that I do it is a variety of ways. Um, First, it's almost like I start from the ending and work backwards. So what I do is I look at the possible outcomes of the decision. So if I make the decision this way, and this might be the outcomes, I look at them, and if I do it that way, these might be the outcomes, or what have you. And then I look at basically the one that I can live with the most, or the one that benefits me the most without harming others involved the most. Does that make sense? Um, and sometimes I look for when I'm making a difficult decision, I look for where fear is coming up. Like if there's a question or a decision I have to make and I feel fear coming up, what I will do is sometimes just for badness, yeah, just like because I've been through enough and I'm not accepting feeling afraid. So sometimes if something really makes me feel afraid, I'm facing it down like what? Good, bad, or indifferent. Sometimes that's been to my detriment. I'm not gonna lie. But 9 times out of 10, it's been to my growth. Like, yo, I faced it, and what? And what can't do me nothing. Like, once you faced it, you faced it. You know what I mean? So that's like, so sometimes if I feel fear, that's when sometimes I will just for badness, straight badness, madness or badness, take your pick. I will face it down because that's just the fire in me. But I'm a fiery person anyway. Um, Difficult decisions. I will seek counsel from trusted people as well. Um, but then again, I don't do that. I don't do that as much as I could because then I go into I don't want my people them to be worrying about what I'm worrying about. Like I'd rather sort it out and then come to them and say, you know what, there was this issue and I found this solution and I'm all right now. You don't have to worry. Does that make sense? Um, but sometimes it is good. Like if it's too much, I genuinely pray. Um, I read tarot. I connect with myself and ask myself what I need within the situation. I ask myself what the situation is trying to teach me. So there's a variety of ways that I approach difficult decisions, difficult situations. But because it's often back to back to back, it feels normal. And that's the part where I check when it starts to feel normal, because it's not. And it's just to be honest with that. It's not supposed to be difficult all the time. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's not. It just isn't. That's just universal law. Universe says it's not supposed to be different all the time. Because it's like when there's a lawn, think of a lawn, yeah? All the blades of grass on the lawn just grow. They don't think, oh, well, those blades over there are pushing up here, or those blades have matured quicker than I have. And so they just grow. I'm a blade of grass, let me grow. Simple. Whereas what humans do to the equivalent and then okay, if there's not enough water or the environment isn't good for the lawn to grow, it just stops growing. It's not good for me to grow here, I'm not going to grow. Done. Like it's back to the simplicity. What a human would do, if a human was a blade of grass, would go, oh, well, my neighbors have got like premium plant food, and I've only got water. So should I grow or not? There's a whole. It makes sense to us because it makes sense, but it is also a lot of times nonsensical too. That's just my feeling. But I'm a very simplistic person. I've learned to be more and more and more simplistic as time goes on because my brain doesn't stop like exhaustion. Okay. And then I'd just like to finish off um, with just, I guess, talking of simplicity, start with the breath. So just, if you want to join me, you can do. You might have had a stressful day, whatever. As you can see, my eyes then. Is that helpful? I hope so. You know me and my wafflings is. I'd just like to ask for a deep, like, join me in taking a deep breath. Close your eyes if you want to. Breathe out. And then the next time when you take the deep breath in, yeah, just ask yourself, like, what's the most important thing you need right now? And as you breathe out, listen to see if there's an answer. Really simple. Oh, nice. I just wanted to give that a little bit of time. That's like literally a 30-second meditation. Um, like my body, like my left ankle was telling me I'm a little bit sore. I need to put my feet up. Um, my eyeballs are telling me that I'm tired and they're a little bit red, which means and my lip is a little bit crackified. So that means I need to drink water. And then I'm also a bit hungry. So just from that two breath, two twos, yeah, that breath was talking the hardest, man. So thank you for joining those who joined. Hopefully it gave you what you needed. Um, excuse me, excuse me. See, that's not me full of yes. um, as time goes on, as the season, progresses, there'll be hopefully more little tips and tricks and things that I use. And that's something that you can do at any time in the day. Sometimes it's just that little thing that you need to get you to that next stage, because actually, sometimes if it's not for that breath, head tops will get licked off. But we're not going to go around doing that, are we? So I just love to say, love you too. Thank you for sharing as well. Thank you for being there, sis. You already know. I thank you for that question because it really made me have that sense of inquiry. And also, we from one healer to the next. You know, I see you, I see you, I see you, and that's that. There, look at that, the synchronicity. Like I'm talking about well-being, and it started off with a somebody who for me is like health and fitness goals. Um, we also had Nine, who has just for maybe gosh 20 odd years just mentally, spiritually, just guru, like really just beautiful manifestation in my life as well. And then round it off by my sister, who is just this amazing person, award winner, just somebody who's a real healing alchemic and an actual healer as well, qualified, may I say, nurturing, healing, nurture touch, healing, nurture touch. Um, Coming soon, and just like so to be finished off and how that way. That's what I'm saying. It's like look who's around you and who you fucks with, and that will show you, and that makes me very happy. So I think that that gives me a sense of well-being, fam. So I just like to finish off by saying, you know, Nurture by Natalie, coming up for 2 years old, still defining, still distilling, still growing, still getting better, still getting more organized, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that. Follow on social media, Nurture by Natalie, or the hashtag Wellbeing Without the Woo Woo. Um, and if you like it, like it. If you want to share it, share it. If you ain't subscribe, if you want to subscribe, subscribe. I have to get used to saying that because I'm not. And then on my page on Instagram, on the page is the question. If you look under questions, it's got got a glittery logo. Make me ask you something. Click there, and it's got this week's question. Feel free to tap on it, and I gave some examples as I normally do, but just in keeping with the question for this week of what is well-being, feel free to put that on, answer it. And if you're already there and you're already looking at it, it's only going to take an extra 10 seconds. It's the same thumbs. And with that, I will say, walk and live and drink water. Toot toot. Sans woo woo. Well-being Wednesday. Peace.